The CZ-75, one of the most durable and reliable pistols ever made. Today we test that out on TFBTV. Gross. If you clicked on this video, I know you're watching it from an indie coffee shop, so snap your suspenders, you steampunkin' son of a bitch, because today we're going to learn something about the CZ-75 pistol. About 15 years ago, I bought a CZ-75 SP-01 Tactical. Everyone jokes about CZ being for hipsters, but they only say that because it's true. What happens is you get really into the Glocks, or you get jumped into your local 1911 gang by a Walmart greeter who's a huge Nighthawk guy. But you get tired of it, and you want to do something a little bit different, right? Glock guys don't want a 1911 guys don't want a Glock, and HK guys don't want to do anything else. But that's for another video. And that's when you go to CZ, the Czech Switzerland of guns. That didn't make sense, did it? I'm trying to say it seems like, you know, like CZ's like a neutral brand. I mean, you get it, right? But you do get those guys that go totally overboard on CZ, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. You guys are weird. You freak me out. But I love you. You're all super passionate about this wonderful little big company from this wonderful little big country. When I did a teaser for the CZ Shadow 2 Compact at EWO last year, I gave the Don Corleone kiss of death to my DMs because CZ guys lit me up. Especially after it had been a couple of months and the gun hadn't been released as promised. Disappointment turned into confusion, confusion into anger, and the next thing you know, I'm getting threats of aggravated tickling from the CZ subreddit. Seriously, up until the day before the Shadow 2 Compact actually launched. Anyways, I digress. I had an SP-01 Tactical. I thought it was a really handsome gun. I just wanted something different, just like any new gun. Absolutely could not wait to take it out to the range. And when I did, pure unadulterated disappointment. It didn't shoot that well, and the gun didn't shoot reliably, so I swore off the CZ-75 for the rest of my life. The truth of the matter is I was a young, angry, unreasonable man. But I've grown since then, and only a little bit, to be honest. But after I handled countless CZ-75 clones after that and never had a failure with them, I realized that maybe my being upset with my brand new SP-01 for having one or two failures with shitty Russian steel 9mm might have been a snap decision. By the way, my choice for cheap CZ-75 clone absolutely goes to the Bull Armory Cherokee. What a deal when you could get those for under 300 bucks. So I told the guys at CZ about my negative first impression with the CZ-75 and how I have never owned one since. So they prepared a little surprise for me. They told me that I could pick any new standard CZ-75 and do whatever I wanted to it. To see how unreliable it really was. You know me, challenge accepted. So we get out to the range with the CZ-75 Omega, known for having a simplified, more robust trigger mechanism than the original CZ-75B. I thought it was a great option for this test. We warm it up with a couple boxes of S&B 9mm because Czech guns get Czech food. Obviously, we had no issues whatsoever shooting it, so we take it to the berm. There was this clay-like dirt berm that ran along the side of the range. Really nasty stuff, so we tossed it, slammed it, kicked the CZ-75, pummeled it into this soft dirt to see if we could get any failures. Not a single one. So we stepped it up a little bit. We dumped sand directly on the gun, especially as we fired it, and then we flat out buried it. Surprisingly, we still had no issues. After that, we figured it would make sense to maybe rough up the gun a little on the ground, including a really nice toss from the outfield to second base. If you're European, I don't know enough about the rules of Quidditch to make a sports analogy you would get, but I was trying to say I threw this gun like really hard. And that's when we got our first failure.
There's like mud packed all the way. There's probably no way that this is gonna work. But you know what? There's only one way to find out, so.
But ironically, also our first example of how hammer-fired guns can get themselves back into the fight. Mud somehow worked its way between the hammer and the back of the firing pin, but 4 clicks on the trigger got the gun going again.
Double action, single action is super impressive. I was like, it's just packing mud into the fire. But now look, like it kind of shoved it all out of the way. That is actually super impressive, okay.
But still, you gotta ask yourself, if I had thrown a striker-fired gun down the range, would mud have gotten there to interfere with the firing pin to begin with? Probably not, but it's still nice to see the CZ unfornicate itself.
Keep mashing on that son of a bitch until it goes off. Wonderful, I love it.
After that, I repeatedly jumped on the CZ-75 from this gravel pathway, which is a little bit silly because we all already know that an all-steel CZ-75 can handle much more than a 180-pound metrosexual repeatedly jumping on top of it. The next test was another, hey, it looks really cool, but maybe isn't going to push the limits of the gun procedure. That was totally immersing the CZ-75 Omega in water. Unless beautiful slow motion footage is a problem, we had no problems. We saved the worst test for last.
So far, dirt, rocks, throwing it down the range multiple times as hard as we can, stomping on it, nothing has managed to stop the CZ-75. Time to take it to the next level. This is the first time I've ever done manual labor in my entire life.
I think mud tests can be awfully unrealistic and difficult to replicate, but we do them anyways just for the heck of it. But make no mistake, the right viscosity of mud will bring any gun to its knees. A gun can handle sand, a gun can handle water, but once you mix the two, the rules of the game just change.
That's thick.
So she said.
We made a really thick, excessively thick. In fact, I feel bad about it. Went a little overboard. It was this Jell-O pudding mixture of mud and sand, and we were about to Bill Cosby this bitch with it. The first magazine of this test had a couple minor hitches.
I don't know. Oh, tap rack bang. Oh shit.
Ryan didn't have a round chambered when we dropped the pistol in mud the first time, which only opens up the chamber to mud intrusion from the bore, but then manually racking the slide really gets it in there. So he had 3 failures for the gun to go completely back into battery, but all of those were fixed with an easy wrap on the side or the back of the slide. We ran the mud test one more time without cleaning the gun, so it was still filthy, but the difference is this time we started with a round in the chamber, so we didn't have to rack mud into the chamber or allow it to get in through the bore. It made it through the last remaining rounds that we had in the magazine, and the very last round was the only round that gave us any trouble.
Go. Every pussy.
The trigger.
Trigger's dead? Yeah, come on. There we go. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
The double action trigger started getting really stiff, probably from sand and mud, but a couple of trigger pulls later and the CZ-75 fired that last round off triumphantly. So my take here is that the CZ-75 performed spectacularly. It was completely unfazed by the sand and the physical abuse. We had one failure outside of the mud test, and that's when a chunk of dirt got between the hammer and the firing pin after I chucked the CZ-75 downrange, but that was fixed just by matching on the trigger a couple of times. During the mud test, we had a few failures, but all of them were easily remedied by tap rack bang or just pulling the trigger a couple more times. Mud is tough on pistols. I remember when I ran a Ruger SR9 through a similar mud test a few years ago, and I had to send the pistol back for warranty repair the next day. Absolutely not kidding, not exaggerating at all.
Won't feed. Yep, falling apart.
In conclusion, my rash first impression of the CZ-75 line of pistols was incorrect, but we all do dumb stuff when we're young, like hard drugs or matrimony. The CZ-75 deserves all the credit it gets. Whether or not CZ-75s are overrated, which they may be, I leave that to you, but these guns are overrated if only because they're rated so highly by those CZ foot fetishists out there, and for good reason. CZ not only did a great job designing and manufacturing this gun, but they continue to evolve the line as the years go by, and it continues to be copied by countless other manufacturers. As we sit here today, I, James Reeves, have a little bit more respect for you CZ-75 guys out there. A little. Guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the program, CZ did not pay us to make this video. We have no financial affiliation whatsoever with CZ. We are reliant upon you to support us. We need Subscribestar, we need Utreon, we need Patreon. We need you guys to be there for us, and we give you something back. We give away 6 $250 gift certificates to Top Gun Supply every single month, and 4 $100 Blue Alpha gift certificates every single month, so you can pick up a gun, belt, sling, whatever you need. But no matter what, I just want to say thank you for watching. Take care. We're bringing you more from the Czech Republic.